Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the Art of Chelsea. Today I'm taking part in the Blacksummer coloring tea challenge, and basically I am painting a mermaid in tea. So started off and made like 3 different teas, and they were all just the same color. So I just did a basic layer, and right now I'm trying to build up color. And it's not really working as I had envisioned in my head. So what ends up happening is you just get a lot of water, and I actually just squeeze the tea bag onto the picture to try to maybe get darker tea. And you can see I'm just like pushing the water around, and it's not really working. This challenge started from Claire over at Blacksummer Coloring, and she painted a tea bag mermaid. Really born from a accidental spill on a sketch that she's decided to bring to life. And I just love it. I thought it was the cutest thing in the world, and I needed to do it as well. So I also drew a mermaid. I did mine a bit differently than hers, but the same principle, a mermaid as a tea bag in a cup. And I posted on Instagram, and she responded to get my hairdryer out because she did about 10 washes. So that's what I'm doing here, is getting my hairdryer out and trying to layer that way. And I get a little bit of success, but not as much as I had hoped. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm not very patient when it comes to art. I like fast mediums. When I'm working on something, it's really hard to work on the same thing for hours, especially if it's just a very small piece. So I was like, I wasn't planning on this taking that long. So I decided to cheat. You just saw my watercolors, and I'm going in and doing a little bit of darkening around where there should be shadows, where I was trying to get the tea to work, but it wasn't. And I don't know if that means I failed the challenge, or if I'm just the cheater, or, she was still painted mostly in tea. I feel like I get some good credit for that. And it's still a painting of tea, so we're just gonna say it's okay. So once I finished shooting and was happy with that, I decided to go back in and kind of figure out how I wanted to have her drawn. And I'm just using a micron pen and going in, and she is, chilling in a teacup, so I wanted her hair to be flowing down and kind of like floating on top of the water. And go from there. The texture on the watercolor paper was kind of giving me some issues. Plus, I didn't tape down my watercolor paper, so it was kind of like bowed in certain areas. So it was a little hard to control. Tea is essentially just tinted water, and so it was way harder to work with than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just like, oh, it's going to be like watercolor. It is not like watercolor. It is a beverage. It is not an art supply, so it is not very pigmented. It is a very wet medium, and it was difficult to work with, but I still had a lot of fun, and I think I came out with a cute outcome. And it mostly came out how I wanted it to. The only ideal part would have been to not had to use watercolor at all. So at some point I switch over from my micron pen to my Pentel brush pen, just to get some thicker lines, and it really does not like the texture of the watercolor paper. But because it's water-based, afterwards I decided to go and kind of blend out some of it, I guess, especially around her eyes. I really thought that, she's supposed to be like wet, so like her makeup's kind of smudgy, and I did a little bit more coloring just with a little bit of the dark gray that I get from mixing water with the Pentel brush pen. And that's about it. Kind of running out of things to say. I'm out of practice on doing voiceovers, so I'm just kind of gonna ramble from here on out because the video is almost over. You know, I really like how she came out. I liked it from my sketch, and I had a whole bunch. I've been thinking about this piece since I saw Clara do hers, and I'm so happy that I found a little bit of time on it's Thanksgiving night, Thursday night, to get it done. I decided to stipple like you know, the tea inside of a tea bag, and I didn't do the entire tail. It was honestly just like a little bit tedious, and I was like, this looks good. I'm happy with this amount of polka dots. I'm happy with this. So, and then at the end, I'm just going in with my white gel pen to kind of bring out the highlight in her eyes and the water ripples from where she's sitting, and everything else. And then here is a picture, and then I wasn't happy, I don't have my scanner, so I brought it into Photoshop and did a little bit of editing. And I hope you guys like it and that you enjoyed this video, and please check back on Monday for another. Have a good weekend.